Hey pen people. So a while back I made a video called 5 notebooks better than field notes. But the thing is, there are way more good pocket notebooks out there than just 5. So I'm doing a series, which is a first for my channel, and this will be part 2 of at least 3. So stick around for more good notebooks to come, and if you recommend your favorite pocket notebook in the comments below, I might just have enough material for a part 4. Okay, like I said in my other video, field notes are super fun, and from a purely aesthetic point of view, they're really well designed. But I've had these kind of fall apart on me a couple of times, and the paper quality is just not great, especially if you're using fountain pens. But even if you're not using fountain pens, there's better stuff out there. Recently, I even had pencil bleed through in my field notes, which I didn't even know was possible. To be fair, that wasn't with normal writing, that was with like heavy shading on a little sketch I was doing, but still, the paper could be better. In preparation for making this video, I reached out to a bunch of different notebook brands, and a lot of them reached back and offered to send me some notebooks, which is what made this video possible. So no one's paying me to make this video, but I did get a lot of this stuff for free. Also, I'll have some affiliate links in the chapters section of the description to these notebooks. If you're interested, no pressure, but they're there. Anyway, let's dive into today's 5 pocket notebooks better than field notes. Notebook number 1 is pretty unusual from what I'm used to, and probably what you're used to as well. The paper isn't even made out of wood. One of my viewers commented a while ago that I needed to try Artik notebooks. And the only place I could really find them for sale in the United States was on Goldspot's website. They're a good pen shop. I've bought from them before. I've had good experiences with that. So after a pleasant email exchange with Tom, Goldspot sent me a 3-pack of pocket-sized Artik notebooks, as well as a 2-pack of the A5 version, which I'll be going over in a video later on. So the paper in these is made out of sugar cane, not wood, and it has a very distinct look to it. It's this lovely light brown color, and it has a more textured look than most of the papers I'm used to using. But it's actually a pretty smooth writing experience. The paper can feather a little bit when I'm writing really slow with an inkier fountain pen, but so far it hasn't been a huge issue for me. It's definitely not the out of control feathering you see on some cheaper papers where the paper just absorbs the ink and it just spreads over the paper, and it's not that. With Artik paper, it feels like the ink is going down nicely on the paper, but then finding little micro channels in the texture of the paper and sometimes running down those. So usually not an issue. I've enjoyed writing in this. In fact, I was so excited about these that when I filled up this field notes, because yes, I do have a backlog of these that I will hopefully one day get through, I decided to make this my next pocket notebook because I was just really excited to use something that's so different. Anyway, the paper does feel really robust. It doesn't bleed at all, pretty much. And this notebook actually withstood my inky glass dip pen a little bit better than some of the notebooks I'll be showing you later on. One thing that's really cool about the covers of these notebooks is that not only is the paper inside different, but the covers are also kind of an interesting mix of materials. And it breaks it down for you right here. So this particular one is 15% organic byproducts from lavender agriculture. Not sure exactly what that means, but plant material from lavender, in some regard, is in here. As well as 40% recycled paper. I'm assuming that means the other 45% of it is just non-recycled wood pulp paper, but that's okay. I really appreciate that Artik is doing something really unique and different here. And even though this does include some lavender material, it just smells like paper. The A5 one I got is the coconut version, and so they just swapped out the lavender for coconut materials. So it's kind of interesting. Each color has its own unique elements that have been put into the notebook. Kind of fun. The last thing I'll say about the Artik pocket notebook is that it's a pretty good size match for field notes. It's pretty much exactly the same height, though Artik is maybe just a millimeter or 2 wider. The biggest difference in size is the number of pages that they come with. So field notes, of course, is 48. These come with 80 pages per notebook. So if you like a thicker notebook, this is great. Okay, chances are notebook number 2 will be more familiar to you. It's good old Rhodia. When I reached out to them about making this video, they actually sent me 2 notebooks, but I really do want to keep this video focused to 5 specific notebooks. So For the brands that sent me multiple notebooks, and there are multiple of them, I am just going to be picking my favorite from the bunch to focus on. So this one is cool. I like the elastic strap on it and stuff, but I'll be focusing on this one because it is the most field notes like of the two that Rhodia sent me. They actually sent me a whole bunch more than that, but I'll explain in a minute. It's kind of funny. So this one, I think it's an A7. It's very small. So when compared to field notes, you can see just how much bigger a field notes is than this. So this is definitely a pocket-sized notebook. This will fit in even fairly small pockets. It's also very, very slim. And like field notes, this also has 48 pages. While testing these two Rhodia notebooks, I did run into a kind of an issue. I have used Rhodia for years, and it has always been consistent and reliable all the way through. But the notebooks that Rhodia sent me actually bleed a little bit more than what I would typically expect from Rhodia. And I actually compared them to my notepad from Rhodia, and yeah, the notepad handles ink a bit better than the notebooks do. And I reached out to Rhodia and they were like, whoa, that shouldn't be the case. So I sent them pictures and they're gonna investigate to see if it was a bad batch or something along those lines. As of the making of this video, I have not heard back yet about that. But even though this didn't quite live up to what I'm used to from Rhodia, it's still better than field notes. It still bleeds less, it still feels more reliable. My guess is that something just went a little sideways with the formula of this paper for this particular batch, and that in general, Rhodia is still doing just fine. Notebook number 3 comes from Clairefontaine, which is Rhodia's sister brand. They're both owned by the same company. And this is where we come to the funny thing that I mentioned earlier. So I reached out to Rhodia and Clairefontaine separately. I asked Clairefontaine to send me a Clairefontaine notebook and Rhodia to send me a Rhodia notebook. Clairefontaine sent me this. It's their Life Unplugged A7 notebooks. It's a 2-pack. But the funny thing is that because they're owned by the same company, there's kind of some overlap. And the social media rep that I was talking to from Rhodia actually explained to me how the companies are related to each other and how the whole big corporation works. And I was honestly a little bit confused. It made me dizzy to hear about all the moving parts of these companies. But the funny thing is that Rhodia didn't just send me these two notebooks. They also sent me, gotta find them all, there's so many of them. Am I missing one? No, maybe that's it. Okay, they sent me these. So they also sent me Clairefontaine notebooks. And I also have another one that I already had on hand. So I've got a lot to choose from here. And if I had to just pick one notebook to talk about today, it would be this one. It's the Back to Basics 1951 pocket notebook. And I actually have, where is it? The A5 equivalent. I filled this notebook up years ago. So it was fun to have this show up in the mail and be like, oh, hey, that looks familiar. It's a really fun design. I really like it a lot. I like how it feels both vintagey and yet very colorful and eye-catching. It's really cool. The size is an almost identical match to field notes, except this comes with 96 pages. And the paper in here, though it's similar to Rhodia paper, this is 90 GSM paper as opposed to Rhodia's 80 GSM paper. Similar-ish writing experience, but this paper is a little thicker, a little denser, so it has the potential to give you an even better experience than Rhodia when it comes to really inky fountain pens. I've used many Clairefontaine notebooks in the past, and I can say that the ones that they sent me are great. They are just as good as the ones I've used in the past. On the label of some of these, it actually says the best paper in the world for writing. And of course, what makes the best paper the best is going to be pretty subjective. People are going to have their different opinions on it. But I think that Clairefontaine has a right to make that claim about their paper. It is really nice stuff. It is very smooth to write on. It handles ink really well. It's just a really pleasant experience. Some people don't like it because it has a very polished feel. It provides a very smooth experience, and some people want more feedback. They want to feel the scratch of their pen more. But if you want a buttery smooth writing experience, this is the way to go. Also, I'm kind of astonished by all the options they have in the pocket sized range. It's really impressive. Like, all 4 of these are a good match for field notes, just thicker, of course. Okay, before we hit numbers 4 and 5, if you'd like to support my YouTube journey, the best thing you can do is just to hit the like button so this video can spread to more pen and paper lovers. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to PDXJ Morris, who is my newest channel member. Memberships are never something that I'm going to push on you guys. I'm never going to put my videos behind a paywall, but I really appreciate it when someone decides that they are able to give me just a little bit of financial support. It's little, but it's powerful, and I really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. So to my channel members, you guys are awesome. The rest of you, still awesome. Okay, notebook number 4 is Leuchtturm, another fairly recognizable brand. They sent me 2 pocket-sized journals. They also sent me an A5 journal, which I mentioned in a past video, and I will be covering more in depth in a future video. But these are the 2 pocket notebook options they sent me. One that's more of the Moleskine-esque kind of design with a elastic and bookmarks and all that kind of stuff. It's soft cover though. And then they sent me these, and I'm going to focus on these because this is more similar to a field notes. So this is the Jotbook. It comes in a 2-pack. They have lots of cool colors. I chose the green ones. This is the A6 size, and so it is bigger than a field notes. It's actually kind of a slim A6, so it's roughly the same width as a field notes, but it is taller. My favorite thing about these notebooks is that the foredges on the paper actually matches in color with the cover of the notebook. So when this thing is closed, it looks like one solid chunky piece. It's really cool. It's a really cool design. I don't see colored foredges very much, let alone foredges that match the cover. It's just really cool. They also have this really interesting little pocket in the back that you could like slip business cards or sticky notes or something in. The paper that Leuchtturm uses is good paper. It's not necessarily designed for fountain pen users, but in general, it can work. It's not the best for super juicy, wet, runny inks, and it might not be the best for your big, broad nibs. But in general, I have had good luck with Leuchtturm and fountain pens. And I've been using Leuchtturm notebooks with my wife for years as we keep a couple's journal, journals for our kids, that sort of thing. We've kind of just stuck with Leuchtturm because they have so many colors and they're reliable, and yeah, so I've used them, I've liked them. They're not as prone to bleeding as some papers, but the paper is relatively thin, so you'll have to be okay with a little ghosting if you use these for fountain pens. But Leuchtturm does offer notebooks with 120 GSM paper, and that's the other notebook they sent me, the A5, is their upgraded 120 GSM paper, and it's really, really nice. So I'm excited to talk about that in another video. Last but not least, I have a notebook that shipped its way all the way from Japan, and it came in this tiny little envelope that just hugged the notebook. There's no extra padding or anything, so you can see there's some creases along the spine. It's a little worn in. I don't mind. It actually looks really good. This is the Dialog notebook. This is the only one of the bunch where instead of me reaching out to them, they actually reached out to me. And I was like, that's really good timing because I'm about to do this video and I can include your notebook. And I did a little research and it seemed like they would be a good fit. They would be good for fountain pens, and I was not wrong. Japanese stationery has a very strong reputation, especially in the fountain pen world, for being really nice. I'm sure they've got their cheapo depot stuff too, but in general, Japanese stationery just has a good, strong reputation, and I think that the Dialog notebook upholds that reputation beautifully. So it's a pocket notebook. It's an almost identical match to the field notes as far as size goes, though it does have 62 pages as opposed to the 48. The logo has this subtle debossing to it, which just is a nice added extra touch that just makes this feel like there was a lot of care and attention to detail that went into how this notebook was made. The paper, it's listed right on the cover, is Kinbishi. I've never heard of it before, but it is pretty good stuff. It handles fountain pen ink like a champ. Even my big glass dip pen did not bleed at all. That said, the paper is slightly thin, so you will see maybe an above average amount of ghosting. I don't mind ghosting at all. It's just not one of my pet peeves when it comes to paper. But if that's going to bug you, then you may want to just take that into consideration. But to me, this paper is lovely, and the notebook is just subtle, it's understated, but I really like it a lot. I'm not sure why I'm gushing so much about this one. I love all the notebooks I'm showing you. It's just, I don't know. This one just really surprised me, I think. The dot grid layout inside is also really interesting. It has page numbers on the bottom and also on the sides, so you can kind of orient it either way and have page numbers that match. The last thing I'll mention about this notebook is that it has this really fun feature right here on the cover. Kind of looks like the LCD screen of a clock or something. The point of that, I believe, is you can color in whatever volume number this is for you. So if this is journal number 40, you can write a 4 and a 0 right there. If it's journal number 1, you can write a 1. Of course, if you're super prolific and you get above 99, you might run into trouble, but I still think that's a really fun feature that it comes with. It's just unique. It's different from anything else I've ever seen. So there are my 5 additional pocket notebooks that are better than field notes. If you missed part 1, you can check out my original 5 recommendations here, and make sure to comment below what pocket notebooks you recommend so that I can continue this pocket notebook series. Thanks for watching.